A new at 6, we're hearing from a state senator who says the State Department of Human Services is using families as what he calls a piñata for cash.
We told you at 5, parents are now going door to door hoping for a multi-county grand jury to investigate DHS. Fox 23's Devin Lyon has talked to dozens of victims, lawmakers, whistleblowers, and investigators. He's here live, and Devin, that lawmaker says he was threatened by DHS.
Now, the person I spoke with was Republican State Senator Jett of Shawnee. Senator Jett told me he was once threatened by DHS officials who said they would prosecute him if he divulged information from policy meetings. Now, he says they're using families as a way to get more money.
Families in crises should not be treated like piñatas from which to extract cash to line the pockets of attorneys who are simply preying on families in crises.
State Senator Jett is a Republican from Shawnee. Over a Zoom interview, he told me about the issues he's observed from Oklahoma DHS and what the legislature is doing about it.
Well, at the end of the day, there's a lot of protections that were put into place by the intent of the legislature to protect privacy of families and to protect children in crises. And what we're finding is some of the rogue elements within courts, within DHS, are using those privacy protections instead of protecting the families to protect themselves. And so they've effectively perverted the protection that we, the legislature, assigned to the families and are using it to protect themselves from accountability.
Jett says instead of providing assistance, they're working to see how much money they can get out of families in crises.
They're not caring about the safety or the mental health safety of that child. They're interested in how much money they could extract from Sooner Care and put in their own pockets. This has to stop.
He told me he and another senator were threatened by DHS during the previous leadership 3 years ago.
In 2021, I met with DHS when some of these first issues came up, and they said, Senator, if you reveal any of the information that we discuss with you, we can prosecute you. So they were completely comfortable with threatening a state senator with prosecution if I had the audacity to release any information. And I can tell you those individuals are no longer there. Dana Prieto and I are still here, and we're still going to move forward about protecting families. We don't care what the threats are. We are going to protect families, period.
Senator Jett says there is legislation being drafted that will be public in December. It will then be considered and voted on next legislative session 2 months later. In the meantime, he says reform is on the way and encouraged people to sign the petition being sent out by Oklahomans for Children's Rights.
Even if you haven't been impacted by rogue government that has hurt families, hopefully you can sympathize with those families who have signed the petition, because at the end of the day, my constituents and Oklahomans have the right to petition the government for redress of grievance. If you've been hurt by government, you have the right to ask the government to fix that.
Now, Senator Jett did say he is confident in the newly appointed leadership at DHS and looks forward to working with them. Meanwhile, the new petition is going door to door in every county as of today by Oklahomans for Children's Rights. Live in studio, covering news that matters, Devin Lyon, Fox 23 News.
We asked DHS if they had a statement or would go on camera for a response. We got a similar statement to what they've been saying since we began our investigations. They say, quote, Oklahoma Human Services is an advocate for transparency and will fully cooperate with any investigation into the agency.